to all of the South African Afrikaans refugees that are coming to America soon, I just want to let you know, as someone whose wife is Afrikaans, who's been to South Africa multiple times, you're going to have a bad time. There's no
Good morning, guys. Good morning once again. Welcome to South Africa Lately, a channel that discusses South African trending news. We do, however, grab here and there from international news when it is trending enough to be brought here. Please do understand that I'm not a politician. I do not have deep knowledge in politics. However, I am a South African citizen who's also a voter, and I do believe that my views count when it comes to political affairs of a beautiful country. I would like to welcome my new subscribers who are KOSI fans. From now on, I'm going to bring in the content that is related to the KOSI for Life fans and our club chat, so that I honor your presence here. Anyway, guys, I wanted to share with you this information. Out of 8,049 Afrikaners who are now refugees are going to America. The other ones, I think the application is still in process. But what I would like to bring to you is that even the Trump administration don't really have answers why they chose to bring in white South Africans to America when they've shut doors to other people, especially the people of color. They said, we don't want anybody anymore. They deported many people, but they're opening doors to white people from South Africa. Americans are complaining about that. But what I want to bring to your attention is the reaction of one guy who is an American, a white guy who's married to a white Afrikaner, telling the Afrikaners who are now refugees who are coming to America that they are going to have the tough time, that they are now the cheap labor that they used to benefit from in South Africa. The cheap labor was for them in South Africa, and in America, they are the cheap labor for the benefit of Americans. The other thing is, there's a lady here that I'm still going to share here in the video clips. She's saying that, no, these people are being brought to America at America's own discretion. South Africa won't be able to vet them. There is no vetting that will be done by South Africa. And South Africa's like, we are vetting them. And according to the information that I'm about to share with you, they were vetted or they are being vetted. So when you look at this whole thing, you're like, there's a different agenda here. And when you look at it, I might be wrong, but I'm looking forward to reading your comments in the comment section. It looks like the Afrikaners are being a tool used in something bigger than them. And I want to know from you, those who know better. Now, as a refugee, when you get to America and you find out that this is not what you signed up for, are you able to come back home? To say, no, I don't want to be a refugee anymore? Are you able to do that? Please let me know in the comment section, because now you said you've gone through this application process and you said something is not right in your country. So now, are you able to say, nah, actually, I would like to go back home? So please let me know in the comment section, guys. Anyway, let me leave you watching these video clips. I'll be back right at the end with my closing commentary.
The president has shown support for South African refugees that are coming to the United States next week. Can you talk about what these refugees are fleeing and why this is a priority for the administration?
Well, the president has actually signed an executive order on that matter. My office can get it back to you, Michael. But this group in South Africa has faced racial persecution. In fact, the government there has vowed to take away their farmland that they own. And so the president has talked significantly about this. As for further details on refugee claims and asylum claims, I would defer you to the State Department.
100 white South Africans are expected to arrive in the country out of 8,000 or so applications. How is this being received in the US? Are there concerns, particularly by refugee advocacy groups, for example?
Well, refugee advocacy groups, of course, find it utterly astonishing that a Trump administration that would close America's doors almost wholesale to refugees from all over the world, because that is, in essence, what President Trump has done in the weeks since he returned to the White House on January the 20th, would throw America's doors open for one group of people, Afrikaner farmers, based on a false statement that the president has made about the Expropriation Act. He argues that those farmers are being dispossessed of their lands without compensation. He also argues more broadly that white Afrikaner farmers are suffering human rights abuses at the hands of President Ramaphosa's government. And of course, the United States government chides President Ramaphosa for the position that South Africa took at the ICJ, accusing Israel and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of war crimes. But it is an extraordinary moment for the United States to be opening its doors to refugees whose processing time for transition to a new life in America has been fast-tracked to just 3 months, where the standard processing time has been 18 to 24 months, and that was before Donald Trump shut America's doors. I think it's fair to say that most Americans don't really know this is taking place, and it's curious that the government wants to send apparently this delegation of US government officials to Dulles Airport to welcome the first Afrikaners as they fly in, because that will certainly raise visibility of this within the United States. And it's not clear that the American public will necessarily back it. I mean, Republican Trump voters don't want anybody coming in. They want America's doors shut, and they certainly aren't particularly literate in the politics of South Africa. And Democrats, of course, will say, well, if you're letting white Afrikaner farmers into the United States, why are the doors closed to so many other deserving people who have applied for refuge in America? But it's an astonishing symbol of how low the bilateral relationship between the two countries has fallen, and we'll wait to see when these planes are going to arrive, when these people are going to arrive, and what level of welcome they are provided by the Trump administration.
Simon Marks is our Washington correspondent. Simon, thanks very much indeed. And just to note, government officials in South Africa say they are working on a response, also rejecting the idea that Afrikaners are being targeted.
Hi friends, I just wanted to hop on here and say how excited I am for the first refugees to arrive, from South Africa. So deserving. It just feels like our fight is paying off at this point, and I'm so happy for them. And I just wanted to encourage everybody and tell you guys to ignore that DIRCO article by the South African government. They are still denying the 140 race-based laws and farm murders and kill the farmer, kill the boer that's going on in South Africa. But I want to tell you that my government, the United States government, is not uninformed, okay? We have one of the most robust intelligence networks on the planet. We know what's going on in South Africa. We know about the persecution of the white minority in South Africa. We are not uninformed. And secondly, I want to say that refugees get let into the United States at the discretion of the United States government, not the South African government. So them saying they want to vet people, they're not going to be able to vet anyone. Okay? The United States vets who gets to go in to the United States. So there's nothing to worry about. There's nothing to fear, friends. Keep the faith. We keep praying. We keep hoping for the best. But I have a very good feeling about this, and I really hope I get to meet the new refugees. God is good all the time, and rocking to the dark MAGA hat today. It's actually my husband's, but I want to send one of these to Katya. She's been rocking the red MAGA caps, but I think she should have a dark MAGA cap for when she's extra spicy. Love you, Katya. And love everybody else. Take care.
Just in terms of the logistics around this departure and the 49, and will they be a different group? Are you able to just let us know, is this the first group? Are there other groups that will be leaving?
Well, in terms of the application we have, this is the only group. There's only one flight involved. So far we haven't received any other applications. So I can confirm that this is the only group that we have.
Just in terms of the logistics as well, it seems to be a very tightly kept together process. Are you able to tell us just what it took to get this going? Who was involved in making sure that this does happen? Where do they go from here, and what happens when they arrive?
Well, we received an application on the 5th of May, which requires us to then forward that application to the Council, the International Air Services Council. And they obviously had to apply their mind in terms of that application. And indeed, they approved it. But the approval, it includes a lot of things, including the technical assessment of the flight as well as the paperwork for the crew. So that was done, and the foreign operators permit was approved, and yesterday it was communicated to them. So basically, in terms of the application, it has to state the route that has to be taken by the flight. It has to state how many people are supposed to be there, but also in terms of the issues of when we approve or when the council approve, there has in this particular case there are conditions that are attached to it, and that is one of the most important ones is vetting. So they must have been vetted, because if there is a criminal issue pending to with one of the individuals, so that has to be picked up by SAPS. So we're not sure. That's not our area. It has to be through the purview of SAPS. You would have to check with them. So basically, the application entails those kind of things. In terms of the route that they're taking, the flight comes from Texas, and it came via Dakar up to here, OR Tambo. So going back, it's going to be OR Tambo, Dakar, Washington Dallas Airport at Washington, D.C., as well up to Texas again.
And if it does happen that there is then another group that says that they want to leave, is that open for you to facilitate again? And is there a time frame for when you do this, or if there's a group that comes through, you will be able to facilitate?
Well, of course, there has to be another application, and it is the duty of the council to consider any application that is submitted. So if there is another group that's going, of course, it is their responsibility to do so. They would have to consider that application.
Thank you so much.
Anyone want to take bets on how fast they're going to cuck and want to come home?
To all of the South African Afrikaans refugees that are coming to America soon, I just want to let you know, as someone whose wife is Afrikaans, who's been to South Africa multiple times, you're going to have a bad time. There's no white genocide happening in South Africa. You have crime that's happening as a result of racism-fueled generational economic inequality, the same thing that's happening in America. We're just a couple decades ahead of you on the unchecked capitalism timeline. But I have good news for you. You don't have to worry about the cheap exploited labor rising up against you anymore, because now that you're in America, you'll get to be the cheap exploited labor. If you were middle class or upper middle class in South Africa and you come to America, you're poor now. Like, really poor. You're not going to have maids and gardeners and personal servants that you can pay $15 a day for. Now you get to be the cheap labor. But by all means, please come to America and experience the American capitalism that Elon Musk's been raving about to you. You'll probably love it. You know, what do I know? There's probably very little chance that you'll end up going back to South Africa in a year or two after realizing how overpriced and fucked up America is. I wouldn't even worry about that as a possibility. And if you think I'm being mean to these people because I think they're a bunch of racist, bigoted colonizers who wish they could go back to apartheid South Africa, it's just because I do think that. But to them, I say, welcome to the American dream. Please let me know when you've woken up from it. To all of the South African Afrikaans refugees that are coming to America soon, I just want to let you know, as someone whose wife is Afrikaans, who's been to South Africa multiple times, you're gonna have a bad time. There's no white genocide happening in South Africa. You have crime that's happening happening as a result of racism-fueled generational economic inequality, the same thing that's happening in America. We're just a couple decades ahead of you on the unchecked capitalism timeline. But I have good news for you. You don't have to worry about the cheap exploited labor rising up against you anymore, because now that you're in America, you'll get to be the cheap exploited labor. If you were middle class or upper middle class in South Africa and you come to America, you're poor now. Like, really poor. You're not gonna have maids and gardeners and personal servants that you can pay $15 a day for. Now you get to be the cheap labor. But by all means, please come to America and experience the American capitalism that Elon Musk's been raving about to you. You'll probably love it. You know, what do I know? There's probably very little chance that you'll end up going back to South Africa in a year or two after realizing how overpriced and fucked up America is. I wouldn't even worry about that as a possibility. And if you think I'm being mean to these people because I think they're a bunch of racist, bigoted colonizers who wish they could go back to apartheid South Africa, it's just because I do think that. But to them I say, welcome to the American dream. Please let me know when you've woken up from it.
Thank you guys if you watched up to here, and Kudu, and the next time you bump into my videos, kindly watch my ads in full if you are on Wi-Fi and you do have the time to do so. That support really goes a long way. And don't forget to drop your comment in the comment section so that we get to talk about this, and if time allows me, I'm going to respond, but if not, I'm going to react to show appreciation for your interaction. Do have a beautiful Monday.